This is how. Why is that not in this article?
Well, it said on there. It said from 2015.
Not the article I just read, unless I missed it.
You might have missed it.
Okay. See, I don't. I'm gonna let you finish, but this makes sense to me. I just don't need you to be in prison no 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I won't be. You know, I know how to handle that stuff in the spirit.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay.
but 2000. So this is 2015.
So
Yeah, boys, pulpit crimes. Yeah, it's pulpit crimes. Yeah, we do no lie. Yeah, it's pulpit crimes. Yeah, we do no crime. Yeah, it's pulpit crimes.
and we're going to talk about this together. Let's do that here. This is his sentencing memorandum. And guys, we're going to go through this, go through a history of the case, and also what the alleged sentencing is going to be. You're going to want to stick around for the end of this video, by the way. Notice what it says. Defendant Brian Carn pled guilty to corruptly obstructing the IRS in violation of, right, and they give the statute. Beginning in 2016, Carn deceived his accountant, lied to the IRS, filed false tax returns substantially underreporting his income, failed to file returns, and obstructed IRS collections. It says this action, which spanned the better part of a decade, guys, a decade, caused a loss to the treasury of over $550,000. The parties agree that current sentencing guidelines range is 18 to 24 months of incarceration. The United States requests that the court impose an 18-month sentence because, listen to this, it is necessary to deter others from committing the same crime and to discourage this defendant from reoffending. So there's two things they're saying. We don't want all these other pastors doing the same thing, and this is going to be served as a kind of example. And also, we believe Brian Carn, if not sentenced, will do it again. In January 2025, just days after his guilty plea, Carn filed another false tax return that substantially underreported his income. A sentence of incarceration is therefore necessary to specifically deter Carn from his continued efforts to cheat on his taxes. Finally, the United States requests the court order Carn to pay the IRS nearly $600,000 in restitution, as outlined in the plea agreement. So not only they're recommending he pay back restitution, but also with that restitution, which is what I thought he would only get. Like this, hey, just pay your taxes back, right? But now they're saying no. Not only do you need to pay the taxes back, right? You need to be sentenced in prison for 18 to 24 months. Because the facts underlying Carn's conviction are straightforward. He deceived his accountant about his income, lied to the IRS, obstructed collections activity, and cheated the Treasury out of over $550,000. The pattern of fraud began in 2016. This ain't something that was just a year. Working as an evangelist at various churches and venues until 2015. PSR at 54. I don't know what that is referring to. It says that year Carn opened his own ministry, so in 2015, in Florida and North Carolina. As Carn explained in a recent YouTube video, his ministries did well financially in 2015, and he was thrust into an enormous amount of money. So this is why I believe he was probably able to start his own church. Matter of fact, y'all want to hear this?
And when I was confronted with it, of course, I didn't know all of the details because, as I said on last night, as a black man, when you're raised coming up, we do file taxes, but we don't file taxes to pay money. We file taxes to get a refund. So as a young man, I was thrust into an enormous amount of money. And I want to say that when I was confronted with this, I immediately made it my business to take responsibility for it.
And this document is saying that is a lie. This document is saying days after this, he violated it again. It says Carn was not paid a salary from and had no written employment agreement with the ministry. Instead, he withdrew cash from the ministry's bank accounts and otherwise used ministry funds to pay for personal expenses. The ministry's internal finance manager accounted for the income Carn received in this manner. In 2016, the finance manager provided information to Carn's accountant about his income for the preparation of his 2015 tax return. With that information, Carn's accountant prepared a tax return that accurately reported income of nearly $1.5 million and taxes owed of just over $600,000. So the accountant right here got it right. Carn apparently did not want to pay that amount. So when the IRS came to collect, he filed a false amended tax return that dramatically understated his income. To accomplish this, Carn hired a different accountant and gave him a fictitious employment agreement, which Carn backdated to 2014 to trick the accountant into falsely underreporting Carn's income. In contrast to the more than 1.4 million of income Carn accurately reported on his original tax return, his fabricated employment agreement falsely stated that he earned a salary from the ministry of only $120,000. I mean, almost $1 million difference, which Carn told his new accountant was the entirety of his income. Man, I bet they had that accountant on that. They had him giving up all the goods. Using that information, Carn's new accountant prepared an amended 2015 tax return reporting that Carn earned $120,000 per year. Subsequently, operating under the premise of the fabricated employment agreement, the accountant prepared tax returns for 2016, 17, 18 that also falsely reported only $120,000 in income. Carn signed each of these returns under penalty of perjury. After that, Carn stopped filing tax returns altogether. So he wasn't even filing after 2018. At that time, he signed the plea agreement. Carn had not filed tax returns from 2019 through 2024. So 5 years of unpaid tax returns or unpaid taxes. Carn, of course, knew his true income. While he was falsely telling the IRS and his accountant that he was making only $120,000, Carn told potential creditors the truth, that his actual income was far higher. So this is where he gets himself in a bit of a bind. So you're telling the IRS you're only making $120,000, but when you want to buy a house, you want to buy these nice big cars, fancy cars, you're telling them your actual. So they actually have documented when you go buy these houses. This is where you get caught up. When you buy these houses and these cars, what you actually make. For example, while purchasing a Bentley, Carn told the car dealership in 2015 that his actual income was $600,000. The same year, when applying for a loan to purchase a house in Florida, he told a real estate company that his annual earnings were nearly $600,000. And Carn told Merrill Lynch in 2015 that his annual salary was between $1 million and nearly $3 million, an order of magnitude higher than what he reported on his tax return. Absolutely goes without saying. Notice this section. The IRS continued trying to collect the taxes Carn owed. Carn continued lying. During the collections process, Carn completed a Form 433-A, a financial disclosure form similar to the ones defendants fill out for the probation office. Signing this form under penalty of perjury, Carn listed his monthly income as $0. My goodness. Despite using hundreds of thousands of dollars from ministry accounts for personal expenses and cash withdrawals year after year. When asked about assets transferred for less than full value, Carn omitted a property he had claimed to his grandmother, quitclaimed. And when directed to list assets and accountants, Carn omitted a sizable Cash App account that was used to transfer hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, you know them Cash App, they always saying you can send money for the taxes. Yeah, this is that account. To his personal bank account and to fund personal expenditures. Carn also admitted, notice how much stuff is being admitted. Notice all the lies we're seeing. This ain't no mistake. Carn also admitted an investment account and 2 cars entitled in his name. Carn's lies and obstructive conduct caused a tax loss of nearly $600,000 for tax years 2015 through 2020. Since pleading guilty, Carn's actions reflect that he has not accepted the seriousness of his crime and is likely to recidivate, aka they think he's going to do it again. As an initial matter at the time of this filing, Carn still has not filed tax returns from 2019 to 2022. What's worse, a tax return he did file appears to be false. So you ain't filed for these 3 years, and the year you did do it, that one appears to be false. On January 28, 2026, a mere 13 days after pleading guilty, Carn signed a 2024 tax return under penalty of perjury that again drastically underreported his income. Though this tax return reported that Carn earned only $17,425. He could not have possibly believed that. Yeah, the Mercedes-Benz that's, right here is saying that's a lie, that you bought for over $200,000. They're saying that, this is crazy, y'all. Yeah, because to qualify for a loan requiring him to make over $4,000 in monthly payments, he reported to the lender that his annual salary in 2024 was $250,000. You telling the car company the truth, or closer to the truth, right? Indeed, even the total monthly payments on his car loan each year would exceed $51,000. Additionally, and despite telling probation that he had no children, Carn made $14,600 in child support payments alone during 2024. You're not making $17,000 because you're paying child support nearly that, and thus must have known that his recently filed tax return was false. I mean, notice the contradiction there. They're eating them up. Not gonna lie. Otherwise, public statements about this case have been minimizing and misleading to the seriousness of his conduct. On January 15th, 2026 of this year, the same day Carn pled guilty, he called into a podcast to address the charge against him. The following day, Carn stated on his own YouTube video addressing the guilty plea, "A lot of things that I did were done out of ignorance, not out of malicious intent, not trying to deceive nobody. I wasn't trying to harm nobody." The IRS does not believe this, and they are saying this is minimizing the facts. Larry Reed addressed it. So let's go to 32 minutes.
Ask you this. This is my question, because I just read through the article. And in my opinion, but I don't know if it's true, and I didn't ask you this because I didn't read it. I told you I didn't want to talk to you until I read it. It sounds like accounting error.
Oh, that's all it is. It's an accounting error, but it's an accounting error that I have to take responsibility for because it's my taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
the IRS says there's no way this could have been an accounting error. An accounting error is maybe $1,000. Look, maybe $10,000, but not hundreds of thousands of dollars where you're underreporting, right? That's where you don't get the leeway of, this isn't a small error. These are massive errors, right? $500,000 errors. They say, of course, the truth is exactly the opposite. Carn's false tax returns did not result from accounting errors, but from Carn's fabrication of a document specifically to cause his accountant to prepare a false tax return. So you're deceiving the IRS and deceiving your own accountant. Obviously, this was not a result of ignorance, but was an act Carn committed with malicious intent to cheat on his taxes. The United States recommends that the court impose an 18-month sentence, which is sufficient, but not greater than necessary to comply with the purposes of sentencing. The specific circumstances of the offense further counsel in favor of a prison sentence. Because Carn obstructed an IRS collections process that could have obviated the need for prosecution. Civil collections can allow the IRS, the victim of tax crimes, to make itself whole and hold offenders accountable without the need for prosecution or incarceration. But when Carn was given that chance, they like, look, we provided you an opportunity. He lied to the IRS repeatedly. Remember, this is alleged profit. This is why this is so concerning, and obstructed its collections of efforts time and time again. Those choices merit incarceration. Tax crimes are serious offenses. They give the statute there. The United States tax system is based on voluntary compliance, and individual taxpayers are trusted to honestly report their income and pay over what they owe to the government. Yet the system of voluntary compliance is often abused. Federal resources are such that not all tax crimes can be prosecuted. For these reasons, general deterrence is of paramount importance. Honest taxpayers need to know that they are not dupes for following the law, and they need to know that those who cheat will be punished for their crimes. Wow. In his public comments, Carn has diminished his crime. We heard that, right? And expressed confidence that he won't go to prison. They got another YouTube link. We'll play that in a second. Coupled with the false return he filed after pleading guilty, this shows that Carn does not truly understand the gravity of his conduct. Incarceration will underscore to Carn that his crimes are serious and merit a serious consequence. They saying you going to jail. That's exactly what they're saying. Let's see what was said here.
This is how. Why is that not in this article?
Well, it said on there, it said from 2015.
Not the article I just read, unless I missed it.
You might have missed it.
Oh, okay. See, I don't. I'm gonna let you finish, but this makes sense to me. I just don't need you to be in prison no 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I won't be. You know, I know how to handle that stuff in the spirit.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay.
but so this is 2015.
So he might not go for 3 years, but the state is saying that he is going to prison. Year after year after year, Carn deceived his accountant, here's the conclusion, lied to the IRS, obstructed collections activity corruptly, willfully, and deliberately. Those choices merit, you've earned prison, incarceration. Deter both the public at large, i.e. y'all pastors who's doing this, and the specific defendant, and Brian Carn. To that end, the United States requests that the court impose an 18-month sentence and order restitution of nearly $600,000. This was signed by United States Attorney Kehoe and Kulikin. I mean, wow. I mean, look, this is legal documents that was filed on the 22nd of April of this year. This is not ChatGPT. Wow. What do you guys think after reading this? If you were like me saying, oh, he won't do any jail time, what do you guys think now? I need you guys in the comment section right now to let me know. Is Brian Carn, April 30th is the date we will find this out. Thanks for watching today's video of Pulpit Crime. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like button. Go ahead and subscribe, and let's talk about it in the comment section. Peace.